64 years ago, I trusted my life to Jesus and my life changed. And I've never gone back on that commitment to him over all those years, and he has been good to me for all those years too. That's been a great experience. So I was in a Christian church with my family, and you might think that because I was with my family in a church, I was going along without thinking about it, taking up what they had said. No, I didn't do that. I was a bit of a rebel. I asked questions, always asking questions, until the minister got so fed up with me, he asked me to stop asking questions because he said I was disturbing the young people's group. I think I was probably disturbing him. I'm sure some of the questions he couldn't answer, and that was one of the problems. But as a young person, I was bothered by that, and I found another church. A church where the minister was very encouraging, wanted us to ask questions and find things out. And eventually he was a great influence in my life. When I was about 15, I started to preach. I would preach in the open air. I would preach in some of the Methodist chapels and some of the Baptist chapels around Salisbury where we lived. And so I was I was supposed to be a student at the grammar school, but my German teacher once said to me, "Mullis, if you'd spend more time doing your German homework and less time preaching in the market square, you'd make progress." But I made a different kind of progress, I think. Interestingly, I ended up in Germany in the Air Force. I was in the RAF for 3 years, and 2.5 of those I spent in Germany. That's where I learnt something important about Christians. It doesn't matter what language they speak, what country they live in. You meet them and you're family. You're part of a worldwide family of people who trusted in Jesus as their saviour. And I was welcomed into this German. I mean, it was not very long after the war. I was welcomed into this church, and quite often on the Sunday I would be invited to have lunch with one of the German families, and that was a great experience. When I came back to England, I went to Spurgeon's College in London to train for the Christian ministry. That's why I was there, and I was there for 4 years, and that was a great experience. Again, lots of learning, lots of questions I had to. In fact, let me put it like this: I said to the principal of the college towards the end of my time there, "I've got some problems here, because I've got so many questions that I haven't yet had answered. I want to spend some more time before I stand in front of a congregation and lead them, because obviously they're going to ask me questions and think I know the answers." So I did 2 more years in Oxford University, but that was after I got married. I met my wife while I was at Spurgeon's. I found her to be a very solid and reliable Christian woman. She was a lovely girl, and with her I had 3 children, and I have now got 6 grandchildren, and it's a great joy to be in that kind of family too. Well, to cut a long story short, at the end of January 1992, she died. In that experience, sitting by her bedside in hospital, I felt that I was sitting at the door of heaven. It was an incredible experience of being so close to God, so close to Jesus, so close to heavenly reality, that I couldn't be concerned or over-concerned. I was concerned for my daughter, who was 13 at the time, and my 2 sons. I was concerned for them and how they felt, but I wasn't concerned for myself. In fact, when Brenda died, I felt jealous. Can you imagine that? Feeling jealous that your wife had got to heaven before you did? Well, that's how real heaven was at that time in my life. An incredible experience of being close to eternal things. The other big event was towards the end of my ministry in the church in Birmingham. I had a heart attack. just got back from Berlin. I'd been in Berlin for a week with my daughter, and it was absolutely wonderful time. And we rushed up and down stairs. We went up to towers. We went to concerts. We went to art galleries. We had a wonderful time with the director of a rescue mission and his wife, with whom we were staying. It was a lovely experience. And within 2 weeks, I was in hospital. Now, instead of being scared, I had a tremendous sense again of God being there in the situation. It was lovely. I felt a peace, more of a peace than I'd probably ever felt before in my life. Here I am at 75 years of age. I'm still mentoring people who are working in Christian ministry, pastors, young men who are training, all kinds of people who need some help, because I don't have a job anymore except to serve Jesus. But he's a faithful God. And through all those years, whenever I've had the slightest qualm about, as it were, going out on my own and doing something, he's been there. He's been there, and it's been a great experience. You know, think about it, 64 years in God's family and still meeting brothers and sisters that I haven't got to know before. I'm still learning. You know, some of you think when you leave school, that's the end of learning. That's just rubbish. The rest of your life, you'll be learning. And if you're not, you're on the way to dying, aren't you? I mean, you really need to keep feeding your mind. And I'm still asking questions. And I'm still stirring people up. And I'm still getting into trouble for it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because God's given us a brain. He wants us to think. He wants us to find out. And I am still studying the Bible and learning more and more every day.